I'm Shoestring Jane and welcome back to my channel where it's Vlogmas day 11. Woohoo! Not long to go. I'll show you my Christmas jumper. I say my Christmas jumper. I've stolen this from Justin. It's actually really nice and warm, much warmer than my little one. Let's do our Advent of Change calendar for today. So the 11th of December. Been some really good charities. If you haven't bought this year, then think about it for next year because it's a really good calendar. You don't get chocolates, but you get a nice warm glow that you've supported some charities. So today's charity is Well Child, the national charity for sick children. Today you've helped a seriously ill child have quality time with their family, making memories on a special sailing trip. It's a nice one, isn't it? I do like this calendar. I'm glad I bought it. Anyway, today I woke up, cricked my neck. You know, I was saying in my, I can't remember which video it was it yesterday or the day before, where I was doing some yoga stretches. And the reason I was doing it is because years ago I cricked my neck. I did something to the disc. I had months and months of agony. And this morning I sat up suddenly from bed because Archie was doing something naughty. And I went, oh, and it was just that bit on my neck. So I'm being very cautious. I'm going to go and do some yoga stretches once I've made this video. And then later on today, I'll have a really nice warm bubble bath and just kind of ease it and just keep on top of it because I really don't want to go back there. So I've got to take care of myself. I'm also cutting out the sugar still today, no carbs. I'm sure that aggravates everything and makes me achier. Anyway, enough moaning. Let's get on to the positive stuff. I asked my Facebook group, my Secondhand and Frugal Life, the question whether they had any favourite frugal Christmas traditions. Because we do. We have, ours aren't that uncommon actually. We do tours of the Christmas lights. We like to go and see all the illuminated houses in the area. There are some good ones here. Where we lived before, there were some amazing ones. People really, really spent so much money and time and put so much effort into decorating their houses. There was one really nearby. I put it on my Christmas last year. I'll try and link the video because it was at such a fabulous house. It was amazing. And they got you to put £1 in their little box for charities. They collected a lot of money for charity. It was a really good one. So that's one of our favourite frugal Christmas traditions. We started when the kids were small and we still do it. And the other one that we did, and I've mentioned this I think in a previous video, went to carols for kids on Christmas Eve and sang carols and had the service, and on the way out the children took a Christmas biscuit. It was just a Christmas tree shaped biscuit or a snowman shaped biscuit, and they were told these were special magic sleepy biscuits, and mine really believed it. They totally believed it. They'd have their sleepy biscuits and they'd go home and go to sleep. After, the other frugal tradition we did was leave out a mince pie and a carrot for Father Christmas by the fireplace. So we did have a fireplace at that house and the last few houses. We haven't got one now, so I guess we just have to leave it somewhere by a window or something nowadays. But yeah, those were our favourite frugal Christmas traditions. So I asked my Facebook group and they were really lovely. So I thought I would share with you. So let's have a look. So Diane, who has her own YouTube channel, actually, you should check it out. It's Beyond the Sewing Room. She's really, really clever. She upcycles all sorts of clothing and things. She had a book of classic Christmas stories, which she's still got. And every day up to Christmas, she would read her children one story from this book, and it was like a magical Christmas book that just came out every year, and I think that's a really lovely one actually. I wish I'd thought of that. And then they also have a tradition of reusing gift boxes and bags and that sort of thing, and now Diane, because she's so clever with a needle and thread, makes the fabric, the gift bags and things you see so much more of now. And another Diane, she used to hang sweets, her family used to hang sweets from the tree, turn all the main lights off, and then sing Christmas carols together by the light of the Christmas tree, which she thought was really magical when she was a child. And that is a really lovely one, isn't it? Doing something together as a family. When would you all sit together and sing Christmas carols? Fiona's church on Christmas morning had a service where each child could bring in a kind of show and tell. They'd bring one of their presents in to show everybody in church. And she remembers one little boy bringing in a dinosaur, and the vicar asked what his name was, and he said, or if he had a name, and he said, yes, of course, it's John, which made them all laugh. And she said it just stuck in her memory, John the dinosaur. And she also does another frugal tradition of walking around her local forest, collecting pine cones and greenery to make into a nice centrepiece for their Christmas table. I think a lot of people do that. That's quite nice to do. I've done vases of Christmas greenery because I'm not particularly clever when it comes to craft, so I keep it simple. But I've gone and picked holly and pine branches and things and made a nice display. That's easy enough to do, even for me. Linda is a bit like me, and she's got all these Christmas ornaments she's had forever that she puts around her house. I showed you in one of my earlier vlogs that I've got these nice little china ornaments that I've picked up from the charity shop over the years. I just put those out. I'm going to collect more. I just keep trying to collect more. They only cost, 50p or £1. And she's had hers forever. She's also got her mum's old Christmas tree baubles. So like me, when she brings out the Christmas decorations, she has memories attached to them, which I think is really nice. It's nicer than just having a fabulous Instagram friendly tree that doesn't mean anything really. I think so anyway, personally. So when Pamela was young, their tradition was to choose one of her dad's socks as her stocking, and then she'd hang it up and go to bed, and then it would magically be full of treats the next day. And her mum told her years later that her dad would just be filling the pair of the second sock in the pair up, and as soon as she'd gone to bed he'd swap them over, which I thought was quite sweet. Pip and her friends go to Christmas craft shows, and then they always meet up by a hot chocolate and a natter. They meet up for a hot chocolate and a natter, I should say. And that's quite nice, isn't it? It's just an opportunity to catch up with your friends. And so this is sort of frugal tradition you could start, isn't it? Let's meet up for a little Christmas fair or craft fair or something and go for a hot chocolate afterwards. Susan's frugal tradition is finding a branch instead of a Christmas tree, a big branch, and decorating that. So that's quite nice, isn't it? It's frugal, don't have to pay for a tree. And also, if you haven't got very much space, it could be better, but you can get a big branch, having said that. And you could sort of spray it silver, couldn't you? I think I'd use it every year if I did that. And then she also uses brown paper and raffia for her gifts, and a tag made from last year's Christmas cards. I do that as well. This year I think you saw when I went up into my attic, we found a load of Christmas paper that I don't know where. I think the girls bought it and left it there. I don't buy Christmas paper anymore. So this year I will be using that just to kind of get it used, really. Susan's also made Christmas puddings for herself and her friends using a 40-year-old recipe. She's made that for the last 40 years. Tracy's childhood tradition was to be allowed, this is a funny one I thought, but I can really imagine why you'd think this was brilliant at Christmas as a child. They were allowed one of those little mini boxes of cereals, the sweet ones. They weren't normally allowed them, and they were allowed them on Christmas morning, and they could pour the milk straight into the little packet and eat them from the packet. I can really imagine that would be quite exciting to be allowed to do that Christmas morning when you weren't allowed to do it any other time. And Rita used to remember eating oranges and putting the peels in their oven. They had a coal-fired oven, and the smell of Christmas, of that just kind of lovely smell of orange, that always makes her think of Christmas now. But you can do the same on radiators, she points out, which you could do. So if you haven't got a fire and you don't want to put the oven on, certainly not now at the moment, just to make your house smell of oranges, then you can stick them on the radiator. I think that would be really nice. You can also hang them from your tree, can't you? Just get an orange and stick some cloves in it and hang it from your tree, or just leave those on the radiator. That would smell lovely. So Linda and Claire both loved making paper chains and snowflakes as children. That was their Christmas tradition. We did that. I remember making just tons and tons and tons of Christmas paper chains, which obviously didn't look that tasteful when they were up and they're all rumpled and everything. When I was a kid, we didn't even buy the paper chains. We used to make them out of newspaper and paint them and all sorts. When my children were small, I used to get the packs that you could buy that had the sticky on them, which was a lot easier. And we would make paper chains and put them all around the house. And I love the getting the children involved and letting them do crafts and things. And I think that makes them really excited. The other thing we used to do, which I guess was a bit of a tradition really, that I've just thought of, was I'd collect bits and pieces, all sorts, for our craft box throughout the year. We'd always do crafts on a rainy day, but I'd have things like cotton wool lolly sticks, toilet roll tubes, all sorts of things. The toilet roll tubes and the cotton wool were fantastic for making snowmen, but we'd have glitter as well and make the lolly sticks into stars and hang those from the tree. So I've still got one of those. I found those actually when I was doing the decorating. And just letting the kids get involved in crafts and putting glitter all over pine cones and that kind of thing. So I think it's really nice. So what would be your frugal traditions? What are the traditions that you've had for years and years? Or are there some that you had as a child you don't necessarily do now, but you look back with fondness and nostalgia at those frugal Christmas traditions? And which ones do you do now? And which ones are you going to do going forward? Are there any in my Facebook group's ideas that you would like to take on now? Anyway, that's it from me for day 11. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything that I publish. See you. Bye for now.